We're going to get started here. Good morning, everyone. I am excited that you have taken the opportunity to join us this morning. And a big welcome to everyone to Tourism Saskatchewan's webinar series. My name is Tamika Small, and I am the training consultant here at Tourism Saskatchewan. As I said before, I am excited that you have joined us as we are reconvening our webinar series after our short break, which began in April. But before we get into things this morning, it is very important for us that I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are joining from different parts of the province, which is made up of Treaty 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10 territories, which is the gathering land of the Indigenous peoples and the home of the Métis. And so, as we continue on the road towards reconciliation, we affirm our relationship with the Indigenous peoples of these territories to continue to build on reconciliation and to learn to move forward in our journey together. Well, as we begin our webinar series, this session will kick off Tourism Saskatchewan 2025-2026 webinar series. And the webinar series in general, they are really designed to provide tourism operators and business owners with practical tools. We like to provide strategies and insights so that you are able to use these to grow your business and to enhance visitor experience across the province, because tourism is very big for Saskatchewan. And from these webinar series, we want to provide you with some actionable strategies that you can apply immediately to your business. And where Tourism Saskatchewan only brings in the best. And so we're going to be highlighting best practices from subject matter experts and successful tourism businesses. And we also want to use this platform for learning, for discussion, and so that you can connect with experts in the field. So let's get into some housekeeping matters. Now, if you look on your screen, you will be seeing that there is an icon there for chat. And I'm going to be asking you to use this. You can use that to chat, or you're going to be seeing another one for Q&A. Therefore, if you do have any questions, and we want you to have questions because we want this to be very interactive, please put these in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen, as we're going to be leaving some time at the end of the session just to answer these questions. Because even though you're hearing from the experts, we want to hear from you so that they can respond to your questions. And if you're just joining us at the beginning, there was a disclaimer that went out. The webinar is being recorded, and this is going to be placed on the Business Hub so that you can watch this again if you wish. So today's topic is creating buzz and interest in your event or business. Creating excitement around your events or business is very key to standing out in today's competitive tourism market. So whether it's through storytelling, creating partnerships, social media, or via word of mouth, successful promotions can and does make a huge difference in engagement and attendance. So we're thrilled to have a panelist of experts here today with us. We do have two marketing managers and a business owner, and I'll be introducing them later. Each will be bringing their own unique perspective about generating buzz and driving engagement in tourism and the business sector. So I'll go to the first person that is on my screen. I'll start with Roshelle Montgomery. She has, with over more than 20 years in marketing, Roshelle Montgomery is she's very passionate about creating buzz around live events and experiences. As the marketing manager at the Conexus Arts Center for the past 4 past 2 years, she leads campaigns that spotlight world-class performances, conventions, and catering services, positioning the center as one of Saskatchewan's premier cultural and entertainment destinations. Welcome, Roshelle. Then
Thank
I move
you.
over to my other marketing manager, which is Brentley Croeker. Forgive me if I butchered the last name.
All good.
All right. So Brentley is often described as a friendly, bubbly, and very approachable person in the business and in the community and amongst her friends and family. She loves spending her time exploring all the different events in Saskatoon and beyond with her family and friends. She's a graduate of the University of Saskatchewan, and she has a Bachelor of Commerce in Management degree with a focus in marketing and in the Advanced Global Business stream at the Edwards School of Business. And she has been delivering entertainment excellence to the city of Saskatoon since 2017. So she's pretty mature in what she does and still enjoys every moment of it. Creating core memories for new visitors or making reasons for them to come back is a challenge that Brentley accepts every day while working at Sask Entertainment Group with the Saskatoon Blades, the Saskatchewan Rush, the Saskatoon Berries, and the Sasktel Center. Welcome, Brentley. And last but not least, we do have Andy. And Andy is the owner and operator of Odd Couple Restaurant and SULU Restaurant in Saskatoon. Andy moved from Hong Kong and has been living with his family in Saskatchewan since the age of 15, where his uncle Leo had a Chinese restaurant and graduated high school in Lanigan, Saskatchewan, where his parents had a Chinese cafe. Andy is a graduate from the University of Saskatchewan, and he majored in civil engineering and economics. He also has an engineering degree, and in 2029 he practiced as an engineering consultant from 2025 to 2029. And then he made the transition into starting his first restaurant, Chopstick Asian Cuisine, with his parents in 2007. And then he founded Odd Couple Restaurant in 2014. And in February of 2025, Andy and his wife, Rachel, started SULU Restaurant here in Saskatoon. So we are going to get started with this event today when we're talking about creating buzz and interest in your upcoming event. Now, I want to start with a question by asking everyone a very important question that I think that is on the forefront of the minds of everyone here, is that we want to look at the big picture when it comes on to creating buzz and interest. So the question is, why is building buzz around your events or around your business so important in today's tourism market? And I'll start with Roshelle, then Brentley, you can take it, and then followed by Andy.
I mean, you have to create buzz to get people engaged. They're not going to spend money and buy tickets if they're not interested. That's the main purpose, right? So if people are uninterested, they're not going to show up to your event. So the more people you can get involved, whether it be partners, your audience, get them involved, get them to buy in early so that they can also help you create that buzz and keep it going until your event.
All right. Thank you, Brentley.
Just tagging on to that, I think everybody has noticed a shift in their own pockets when it comes to disposable income. Working in sports, we definitely see a lot of trends with high attendance and then low attendance. partially due to team's performance, but definitely lots of people, families especially, just need to kind of budget a little bit better these days. Food's more expensive. So if you have an event, putting on the best show or best possible outcome and just respecting where people's dollars go and really valuing that, understanding where that comes from goes a really long way. So creating a lot of buzz and just being thankful for where people choose to spend their money is very important.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Andy. Go over.
Morning, everyone. I think this is definitely a very important part as a business owner. You have an idea in mind, you want to pursue it, but you also want to sell a service or a product, and you want to make sure that there's enough traction and an audience that is also as interested as you. So you want to make sure that like for me running a restaurant, I want to make sure that if I'm create a special menu, I want to make sure that after buying all these ingredients, hiring all the staffs for this event, I want to make sure that it's worthwhile for us. So it's extremely important to make sure that there's enough traction for interest to see if what your idea is actually not just for yourself, but for the clientele that you're targeting. Are they interested? So I think that's why we need to create buzz and interest.
All right. Thank you all for sharing, and you did all touch on quite a number of interesting things. I'm hearing that it's very important to respect people's dollar, and they have buying power in this tight economic climate that we're in. And Andy also talked about the interest, and and Roshelle, you talk about creating buy-in, which is very important. Now, I just want to tag along with this question. From your experience, how does that buzz, when you're creating that buzz, the importance of the buzz, how does that translate into tangible outcomes when we talk about maybe attendance, booking, or customer loyalty? How does that affect these areas? Andy, do you want to start first?
Sure. Yeah, a lot of the times when for both of my business, we actually have two different approach with Odd Couple and SULU in terms of marketing. I have a bit more help at SULU, just because the dynamic of how we separate the workload, and also some like we have a little baby at home, so I just don't get to spend as much time. But for us, it's really important when we want to tell like our customers or the world something. There's a purpose. Like we need to feel good about what we're telling the world. Why are we doing this? If we feel within our company that we're proud of what we're serving, and how we're interested in selling this product or service, then we can truly tell a story about what we're doing. And then that's usually how I go about it. Like I think for us is we ask ourselves first, what are we selling? Mm-hmm. What is it interested in me to selling this service or product? And then we tell the world. So I think that to me is very important.
And that create the buzz that you need. Go ahead, Roshelle. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, no, really the same thing. I mean, for my industry, it's a little different in the sense of we have a different demographic and audience for every single thing that we're bringing here. So, for every, right now, I think I have over 30 shows on sale that we're marketing right now. And every one of those shows has a slightly different demographic. So we always have something to share. It's how we reach those people and create that buzz within each demographic. We have to kind of come up with a separate strategy for all of them. And same thing with what Brenley was saying, making sure that there's value for each of those segments, and that the show that we're bringing and offering to them is valuable and worth their hard-earned dollars. And then to keep them coming back. So when they do come to here, maybe they are coming for one show. We're hoping that they have such a great experience that, they want to come back and see another show. So whereas, someone like Andy, yeah, obviously you feed them their great meal, you provide their great service, they're going to come back. We're trying to attract them to a completely different experience potentially next time, but with the same level of, professionalism and like a higher end experience than they might get at another venue.
Yeah. All right. Anything to add, Brentley?
Mine is just going to be a quick story add on about the berries. If anybody doesn't know anything about the Saskatoon Berries, brand new minor league. It's a collegiate summer league actually in Saskatoon. So in Regina, it'd be the Red Sox and the Berries. I came off my first mat leave to start the Berries, and at that time, we started right from scratch where we did a name the team campaign, and so this had to reach a totally different demographic outside of baseball if we wanted any traction and any attendance at all. And so that just is multiple strategies, many steps to build up interest, lots of little nuggets here and there, which we're going to talk about later of how to market an event. But building the team from scratch to hoping that somebody comes and watches your product is such a crazy experience. And so just taking the time to really think about every step along the way and what does that look like. We started a whole year ahead of when we had to play, because we wanted more than one fan in the building for the players that were coming to Saskatoon to play ball. Most of them from the States have never even heard of Saskatoon, can't even pronounce Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, don't even know how to spell it. So creating something from literally nothing is something that anybody can do that's watching this webinar or that should be watching the webinar. Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Really great input. And a couple of things. I believe what you have just said is a great segue to my next questions, because you did talk about catering or using different strategies for different demographics that you're catering for, and, taking the time to plan and creating something from nothing. So one of the questions, and I want to start with you, Brentley, and then running over to Roshelle, is that we want to look at that initial engagement. When you are planning an event, what are some of the very first things that, you should think about so that you can get persons interested and knowing that you're catering to different demographics? So let's start with you, Brentley.
Sure. I really liked what Andy said, where everyone is different in what they want. And so when we're thinking about the berry specifically, they're kind of top of mind. They just finished the summer league. Even the blades and the rush. So in the sports industry, multiple products, multiple different meals. For us, you're looking at the why of an event. So most people, if you're putting on an event, you're not just coming up with something off the top of your head thinking, hey, this is what I want to do. You're looking at what does everybody else want to do? What is the why? And so when you're marketing an event and you're marketing to different segments, is there a different strategy for families? Families with one kid, families with two kids, families with kids that are 3, families with kids that are 12. Those are all different strategies within one demographic. And then you have your hockey lovers and the ones that actually love watching the sports and understand the sports. If you're going to a rush game, most people don't know the rules of lacrosse. I still don't know every rule of lacrosse. You can just hit somebody with a stick and you're thinking, is that a penalty? No, it's not a penalty. It's fully acceptable in lacrosse. It depends where you hit them. But just getting the interest. And so going back to the why would people want to come to this event? What would they get out of if they're spending their hard-earned dollars? Why should they come? What would be of interest to them? Is it a night out on the town? Is it a night away from the kids? Is it I need something to do on a Sunday evening before I keep saying kids because I just had a 3-month-old baby, but it depends. Like, is it a night out with the friends? Is it a group of coworkers going out? Hey, we need something to do. Is it a sales technique for a salesperson as an incentive for somebody that's purchasing something on their own? Maybe I might go to Andy and say, hey, for your 50 customers that are coming in today, let's help them out and go to a game. And that might be a crossover partnership, which we will also get into later, but just coming up with really what is the why for each demographic, not blanketing it across everybody altogether.
I like that. Not a one-size-fits approach. Over to you, Roshelle.
Yeah, and I'm basically going to piggyback onto that, the why, but the first thing that I typically do when I have a new event that I have to start promoting, the first thing I think about is who is the audience? Who is this for? And what do they have going on the time of year? Like right now, we're in harvest. I can't sell tickets to anything when the farmers are in the fields. There's no point in even promoting certain things for us right now because they are not engaged. That demographic is just, they're busy. They're in the fields. I don't know how many hours a day. Same thing when we're planning an event. Like, are we going to plan one of our annual events right in the middle of harvest? That's for that demographic? Probably not. In Regina, another thing we have to consider is the Rough Riders. Are they playing this weekend? Do they have a home game? We're not planning an event if the Riders have 30,000 people in the stadium. That's hitting our demographic. Same thing with, I mean, that's one of the issues or obstacles we have with Shake the Lake. It falls typically right in the middle of Rider hardcore season. We're not going to compete with them on a home game. So just an understanding what those demographic, is it a school night? Why would I host, we're not going to try to promote a kids event on a Tuesday at 7:30 at night. These guys are going to school the next morning. So knowing what's important to them and figuring out a strategy that will work when I'm planning the event. Otherwise, again, why would they be interested?
Yeah, and that's a good thing that you've brought to the forefront, the different variables to keep in mind, because I don't know that many persons are sensitive to these things. And so, not placing yourself in too much of a competition is something that is also great to keep in mind. And I know that your demographics is a bit different. So for you, the question is, when you're promoting your own business, you do have two. How do you identify your target audience and what's the best way to reach them?
That's a good question. To be honest, when we started Odd Couple about 11 years ago, I wrote a 50-page business plan, and I was hoping to shoot for young professionals to somewhere between the age group of 35 to 50. But what I realized as a restaurant owner is that food, there's no age. There is a core. There's a core target audience that I still believe it's around that 35 to 50 age group. But then, like the first week, I remember there was someone who came in for lunch, and then at night they brought their grandparents and the kids came. And so that when I see that, I feel like, yes, I have a core target audience that I want to broadcast, and it's either by my from previous relationships, people I used to work with, or right now I predominantly just use Instagram and a little bit of Facebook. But to tell the truth, I haven't really posted anything for Odd Couple because of laziness. I haven't posted anything for like 2 months. The last time I posted something was actually because we need to close for a long weekend. So, but we're grateful that I have enough traction right now to sustain our business and grow. But I do I feel like it's important to nowadays to use social media, but also I won't forget the human connections. I do take the time to I have key customers or people that are somewhat considered business partners within the community. I want to make sure that I'm involved in the community that I want to be working. For example, we donate food to Sanctum every month for their board meeting. And then when people ask for donations, we choose to see if we want to be involved for any particular reason. So I feel like we do the groundwork to try to ultimately be part of the community and do great things, and that we feel good about it. So that's one way for us to be engaged with my core customers. But from that, you need to deliver your products. Like Brenley, honestly, I don't know nothing about baseball in my life. And I had a really great time at the Berries game about, I'd say in the end of July. Amazing. I was just sitting there for 3 hours outside. It was kind of cold, but then I was having a good time. It doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
matter, right? When you have a good product, then I remember it. Then people create memories, and it's like, oh, what do we want to do tonight? Let's go. So you create a bus. You need to take care of your end, and then once you do that, then you'll become a word of mouth. Then I feel like that's kind of the cycle of creating buzz.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Andy, for saying it. And I like the fact that you are not just a restaurant in the community, but you have established yourself in terms of community involvement. So again, I think that again, in terms of establishing you and providing the traction that you need in the community as well. And Andy, in terms of the responses that you gave, you jumped into another question that I'm just going to throw out to you. You talk about, not you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook. And I remember when I had a conversation with you, you said you have not posted in the last 2 months, but you have great traction. And I was at your place and I saw people just walking in. Now, for you, people may not, for you, out of all the ways of, promoting, I know social media, you have just spoke about word of mouth, which has worked best for you. And, for other small businesses that want to create traction, what advice would you give them in terms of, what to do to create that traction when it comes on to promotion?
I think it depends on the particular stage of that particular business. Like if I were to start from scratch, then I would still probably figure out what's my target audience and see how I could um, to be involved in that circle. Like for example, we started SULU about I got the keys in October 15th, and then we had our soft opening at the week of the Valentine's Day in February. I had to piggyback with my previous business at Odd Couples, and just to tell the world that hey, we have a sister restaurant now. So based on that, we get a lot of traction because we have some history. So it depends on if your
Mm-hmm.
particular business have any history that you can piggyback on that is somewhat similar. But then you also have to tell the world that what are you so different. Like to this day, people will still ask, "Hey, do you have the same menu? Does Sulu have the same menu as Odd Couple?" No, we don't. So then, how do you, in one sentence, tell people what are you offering? And then what are the differences, like what makes you different and stand out, so that people would be interested in potentially coming to you, because like Roshelle and Brenley said, like money's are tight. What if they're gonna go out, they want, like especially in restaurants, some in the other industry is different, but it comes down to level of food, level of service, the atmosphere, and overall value, like bang for the buck. So if you could ask yourself these four questions, what are you bringing different? Is it the price one? Are you willing to pay for this? Then you have something. Then you can tell the world these are what we're offering, and then we'll see run into the target audience that you want to shoot for and see if these people feel like they are interested, and then you have something or you don't. So I feel like I always come down to ask yourself, would you pay for this? If you do, then
Mm-hmm.
you have a chance. But if you don't, then you got to think of something else.
Okay. And for you, I can see when I visited you, you were on the floor talking with people, and I think that the word of mouth definitely helps Andy because he doesn't have to spread the word. People do it for himself because he's engaging with his customers. But for Rochelle and for Brentley, sorry, do you have something else to add, Andy? Okay, for Rochelle and Brentley, people, from your experience, you have been doing this for a while, and when it comes on to promotion, some persons, you talk about not competing with other events that are happening. How early should a business start promoting their event, just to get traction for the upcoming event? Go ahead, Rochelle.
I think it depends on the event. I think the bigger the budget that they need for the event, the longer you have to give people to plan. Something like Shake Lake. I mean, realistically, the events that we're hosting, I think are relatively, again, it's subjective, but affordable. The bigger the event, though, the longer out people need to plan. Ideally, if I had it my way, Shake the Lake would be planned about a year in advance. That's not the case. We're also, again, as I mentioned before, we're at the mercy of the Rough Rider schedule. So we don't pick our date until the Rough Rider schedule comes out for an event like that. Once we have our date, then we start booking our lineups, which in this industry, entertainment, it can take a while. Other events, though, like our concerts that are here, any large event, like a big, huge theater, like Broadway production, we typically start like 9 months in advance. For a concert, we're doing 3 to 6 months. Again, we also consider the audience. I mean, the audience is always at the front of mind, and it should be. Families typically plan further in advance than, a young college university student. Families book things into their calendars. They have other events going on. They have obligations, school. Regina, also knowing your market's really important. Regina is a last minute market. We can sell something 6 months in advance, and we start panicking. We're getting closer to the date, and it's like, what can we do? Like, what marketing efforts do we need? Like, do we need to put more dollars into advertising? 5 days before the event, we sell 600 tickets. So we always tell that to some of our promoters as well. Just calm down. We know it doesn't look great, but we do have a last minute market. But I mean, to create that buzz that we're talking about, you need 3 to 6 months of hype, I think, a little bit, again, depending on the size of your event. But again, I think you really have to know and understand your market and who you're, again, I promote different shows. If we have Sesame Street coming compared to, I don't know, some rock concert, we have Cooper Allen, a big TikTok guy. Like, it just depends. Matt Rife, guess what? We didn't do anything. That sold out in record time. It really depends. But just really understanding your audience and what their spending and buying habits are.
Yeah. So it's very interesting just to hear how timing is very important, knowing your audience, and, it definitely will influence your choice of channel and, in terms of your audience as well. I want to run on to something that we have been talking about a lot. We're talking about partnerships, and we're talking about word of mouth. So I'm going to jump back over to the event managers, Brenley and Roshelle. And I mean, can you share an example where partnership with other business or organizations have significantly improved your events outcomes? Brenley, I want to start with you. Roshelle, I can start with you. And I know that you're a one-man show, and money's tight, budget, nonprofit. So can you speak to that?
Yeah, I don't have a marketing department. I am the marketing department. I don't have anyone else in our staff that does any marketing. So it's all me. Partnerships are huge for me in terms of, I am not a graphic designer. I am more of strategy, but I use collaborations for everything. Whether it's even with radio, again, with tight budgets, I can't afford a graphic designer to do all of our work. I really rely on my partnerships. So radio is a big one for me. We do a lot of contra, even for promotion. So I will offer tickets in exchange for promotion, tickets in exchange for helping design new graphics. In those ways, we use contra even for like Shake the Lake, even like our fencing. We have a partnership with Loris, and they go and put up all of our fencing and our porta potties. And so we create a lot of partnerships and collaboration for contra, as well as for cross promotion. We do have one event that really stands out for me. It's our Winter Wonderland event. So Winter Wonderland happens here. It starts mid to late November, where we basically transform the whole center into a winter wonderland. We do over 200 Christmas trees. But what we do is we get the whole city involved. A lot of tourism, our attractions group, and the science center, the museum, Sask Power, all of them come and we get them to put up a tree. It also helps them with being visible in the community, and all dollars raised. So Winter Wonderland goes from the end of November until after Christmas, where we open the center for tours. Plus we have Christmas parties here, obviously, concerts, all kinds of shows. We see over like 16,000 people come through our doors between November and the end of December for different events. So it's a great opportunity to be visible, and get some, community engagement. But all money raised through all of these efforts goes to the Regina Food Bank. But we also do what we call a family day, where we open our doors and we get community partners to come in and basically entertain families. We get singing groups. We get the museum does some activities. The science center does some things. We get mascots. We get food donated by partners. And we have Santa pictures, and Sterling Productions, a local theater, comes and does a show. It's a full-on thing, but it takes literally the whole community to do. And we leverage all of those relationships, all of those partnerships, and we use them all year. So I feel like I can reach out to them for, maybe we have a kids show. Well, the Science Center, that's where families are. They'll maybe help us promote our show there. In return, we may put up a billboard for a show that they have. We live for those partnerships to help us create buzz throughout the city. And Tourism Regina, Tourism Saskatchewan, same thing. We leverage all of those and use those collaborations, because again, I don't have the money or I can't. We also use, don't cancel us for this, we use Just Bins. You'll see our shows on Just Bins. They help us a lot. They've become better in the community than they used to. But we do cross promotion things for them. We throw them tickets to things. They help us out. As much as, they have some controversy, they have a huge audience. And their audience actually matches a lot of the shows that we're bringing in. So, I always say, reach out to those partners, reach out to your community, reach out to restaurants. We have partnerships with the Keg. We have partnerships with local breweries, local pubs, craft beer. Our local, we use all of it to leverage everything we do.
Leveraging those relationships are very important, because they have a reach that I'm hearing that they have a reach that you don't have, and maybe the money, and able to reach that audience as well. Brenley, that things are a bit different from you, because even though Roshelle, I said a one man or one woman show, you do have budget. So how does that work for you?
Thanks. I have so many no's because Roshelle said so many great things. I want to, working in sports, I just want to go back a quick question. Our schedules, she mentioned this too, schedules are at the mercy of the teams. And so she's working with the Rough Rider schedule. We're waiting we can't even start marketing our events until we know when they are from a Sask Entertainment Group perspective. We are so lucky to have one of the best GMs in the league, and leader, Steve Hildebrand. So he goes to work, and we kind of know the Blade schedule in advance. But when it comes to the NLL and the Saskatchewan Rush, they are the latest group of people we've ever seen. No matter how hard and intense we get in there, the schedules just come later and later. So when we're talking about lead time to market an event, sometimes you are at the mercy of who's making the schedule. And unfortunately, when every fan thinks we make the schedule, we do not make the schedule. We have had 3 weekends back to back to back in April. And like Roshelle mentioned, those farmers, that is not a great time for them. So we do not want to be doing that to people. Last minute ticket buyers, we have seen a lot of stats across all 3 teams go up. I'm not sure if Andy's feeling this with bookings essentially, but for ticket buyers, it's a lot of last minute compared to how it used to be. Not sure if that's related to free amount of dollars, or just lots of other noise in the market, lots of other events going on. So when we talk about building buzz in the community, the most amount of lead time possible. If your products are really expensive or higher priced values, you probably need a lot of lead time for that. If you're not most people aren't just buying a ticket and flying to Mexico tomorrow. Most people have to save a little bit of money, or if they're going across to Europe, you need money to save. It's the same thing if people are coming to an event, smaller scale production, but still lots of time. And it depends how many tickets you have to sell as well. So for us, we're filling a stadium. SaskTel Center has a capacity of over 15,000, including the suites. And so we can't sell 15,000 tickets in a day. When Andy goes to the Berries game, that's less than 2,000. And so it does not as much of time to sell tickets as needed, especially with the buzz around the Berries, but you still can't sell 2,000 tickets in a day. And even if your event is 50, 25, 10, you still need more than the time that you think you do. And so when you also have a lot of time to market your events, you have a lot of different time to use different methods of marketing, email marketing, social media marketing, paid, free, digital, whatever that may be. And so if you're trying to rush an event for ticket sales, the buzz is not going to be there. So the more time, the better. Just back to that question, I had a few notes. But when we're talking about partnership marketing, Rochelle's coming from an event standpoint, and I'm going to kind of hit on a different area.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about our fan appreciation nights, that's when we want the most amount of buzz, because it's about the people. We could play hockey, we could play lacrosse, we could play baseball, but the team, we say we're one family, because if the team on the field doesn't perform, then the fans don't come. If the fans don't come, then the team on the field doesn't perform, because it's the loudness and the cheers and the excitement from the fans that fills the boys with the energy, and it's the play on the field or the ice that builds the fans and their energy. So it's a full circle. Partnerships just increase that buzz even more. Fan appreciation nights, just going back to that, we've done for the Saskatoon Blades, every whistle is a new prize. Those prizes aren't coming from the Blades team. Those prizes are coming from Hilberkenberg. They're coming from our partners with restaurants. They're coming from our partners with beer, 016, local vendors as well. So the greatest show and the greatest pull just comes from the partnerships amongst the community. Tourism Saskatchewan has had some awesome partnerships with us. I'm thinking Tourism Saskatoon as well, different travel agencies. So partners just help amplify your message. Also, they have demographics that they're going after too. So if you can promote your partners, Hilberkenberg is attracting more of a female clientele, where possibly our stats show that our Blades games are more tailored to the male clientele. So having a partnership like that brings in a new demographic to fill the capacity of the stadium. Same thing with the Berries. We have family-oriented company promoting at a Berries game, but then we also have some HVAC companies and AC companies, and so you get dads bringing the kids that say, hey, our house needs some fixing. I see their partnership on a sign, on the Jumbotron. I hear their announcements. So you're getting those auditory cues, the visual cues. Kinesthetically, you might be doing some activations on the field where we bring in Leos and we're turning around, drinking beer bats, whatever that may be, hitting different demographics across there. So partnerships as well need to look at multiple demographics. If you have a partnership that's just hitting maybe the drinking clientele, there's a ton of people right now that aren't drinking, health reasons, whatever it may be, underage, whatever, coming to our events. And so not blanketing, again, your marketing approach, not blanketing your partnership approaches either, goes a really long way into building that buzz for an event.
Yeah, thanks, Brentley. I've learned a lot from what you've said. And one of the things that I really took from what you've said is not just boxing in terms of whom you partner with, but thinking outside of the box. You know, you made a lot of references in terms of whom you have partnered with, and the same for Roshelle. So I think even with smaller businesses, you know, don't just think that I need to, if you're a restaurant, that you also need to partner with another restaurant, but think big and wide and have a strategy in terms of who your target audience is. And they haven't forgotten about you, right? So when it comes on, to creating that buzz, you're a restaurant and you have two. The question that I want to ask is that, have you had customer reviews of people, and we have spoke about it, that they do things word of mouth for you, they share their experiences, and how has this helped spread the word about your business? Because I know that you haven't done a lot of posting on your own. So how does that work?
Yeah, I think our couple, we're fortunate. We've been open for about 11 and a half years now. And so we do decent well online for reviews. To be honest, like it used to keep me awake at night sometimes. Like when you get, like I still do every now and then, but like in general, we don't reply to a lot of them, but we do assess, and then like every now and then we'll reach out to the customer if we need to. But in general, we do pretty well online for Odd Couple, and that actually really helps in the summertime, especially my core clientels. A lot of them will be away in the summertime. They'll be in the cabin. They'll be traveling. As soon as, like for us, as soon as July 1st comes, it's just a totally different game. But we're grateful that we do well on the reviews online, so that there's a lot of travelers to fill in the seats during the summer months. Actually, sometimes can be even busier than our regular from September till June. So it's quite important right now, especially as restaurants. Like, you know, when I was traveling last month, I would look up, okay, what's the review like, and what's the newest ones, and what are the like you go in like my money is also tight, so I want to make sure that my money is well spent, right?
Yeah.
So then I want to know what kind of risk am I going into in the situation, and so forth. So I think that's quite important. We do, for the most part, we have Google review like every other businesses, but for us, we have a booking reservation app called Open Table, and then that app would prompt a customer who make a reservation to see after the meal if they want to make a review, and so then that would be something that I get to trace if I need to reach out to that particular customers. I could message them back, or just so that there's a bit more dialogue, relatively, compared to Google review, which sometimes you have no idea who that person is. So at times we'll chase back and ask, and then they will also give us our management team a tool to assess, hey, how are we doing lately? You know, like just because you've been good 3 months ago, but now maybe you have some new staffs or whatever reason is, like you need to continue to assess your own business, because like we serve like 100 people, 200 people a day. You're not gonna, you hope to be perfect, but the world is not. Sometimes like we make mistakes like everybody else, but how do we learn from that? And I think that's I feel like it's really important for us to make sure that you keep up. Even if you don't reply, you need to ask yourself, hey, is this person leaving the review fair? Can we do better? Self-assessment is very important for any business.
Okay. Thanks so much, Andy. Time is running, it's speeding ahead, like like a train. And there are a couple of things that I want us to touch on before we actually end today. But just a reminder to our audience, if you do have questions to ask, please go ahead, put those in the Q&A sections, and we're going to be leaving some time at the end to actually hear from you. So let's run into annual events and business continuity, which is very important in creating buzz and interest. And I'm going to run back over to Andy. You have, Odd Couple is the older of the two restaurants. And one of the things when it comes on to restaurants is keeping it fresh, the menu, because it's a competitive market. For you, are there ways that you refresh your business campaign just to maintain excitement and that excitement and overall engagement?
Yeah, it's a great question, Tamika. I actually just kind of work around the edges to refresh our couple food menu about 2 months ago. Some customers might not even know it, but I basically asked myself, hey, some of these items are 11 years old. Like some of the things has changed. Ingredients may have changed. I have changed. My life has
Yeah.
changed. Would I still want to eat this today? Would I pay this today? What can I do better within the rim of value? Like, so we actually work around the edges and update. I feel like probably 70% of the menu. We only were able to take away one thing, because every time when, like in a restaurant, if you take away something, people get mad at you. That's just what it is. So I took away one thing, but then I asked me and my chef, can we do this? Can we use a different ingredient? Can we use bigger shrimp? Can we tweak this so that like it's a little more flavor or texture, however it is, and then still keep in mind of the value. Like, are we still targeting the our core client? Would they be upset if we raise the price or etc. Right? Like, so those are the things that we keep in mind on, and then so we keep that fresh, and then for us, like some ingredients just seasonal. So that will always be a thing for us, a good reason for us to refresh. It's like, okay, we have a summer menu now because we our partners have too much cucumbers. Let's make a cucumber salad, for example. So like, it's not only just like the timing is great, but also like sometimes you find value. Like when we find value, we want to share with our customers. So those are the things that allow us to keep fresh. But you have to ask yourself, because like, even if I see the same dish every day, I may not like it. Like,
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to keep reinventing yourself.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Rochelle, and for Brentley, you know that you have, for Rochelle, you have Shake the Lake, and this is yearly. And Brentley, you're working with the Rush, the berries, and this is happening every year. And sometimes when you're talking to a kid, the attention span is very short, and when you think about the areas that you are in, it's very competitive as well. So for events like yourself that happens every single year and you have to plan in advance, how do you keep it feeling fresh, so that people continue to attend, they want to attend? How do you do that? Let's start with Rochelle.
Yeah, Shake the Lake is an annual event, but we always make sure it's evolving. We Shake the Lake is a classic rock music weekend, but those bands are aging, and so is that demographic. So it's important for us to also evolve, and we have to start looking at bringing in another demographic to keep the event going. A lot of the old bands that people are used to seeing, they don't tour anymore. They unfortunately are passing away. I mean, they're aging. So we did do a slow shift over the last couple of years, and this year was the biggest shift we made about bringing in newer acts that aren't from like the 70s and 80s. We've kind of moved into the 90s and 2000s, which has helped us bring in a younger demographic. We have learned that we're not going to please everyone with our lineup. But it is helping us sell tickets because we have to expand that demographic. And it's worked. We're just, we communicate it. This is an evolution of Shake the Lake. It's got to grow. It's got to draw in more people. So we always try to keep it fresh. We always try to bring in new experiences that we can add into Shake the Lake for people to create new memories. And we always play on nostalgia. So the previous year, remember when this happened and how great this was. And we engage our audience with, bringing them back. Tell us about a time at Shake the Lake. What was your favorite thing? And so as long as we created a great experience, like for example, this year, we hope to carry that into next year and maybe just always add something. And maybe we remove something. Maybe something's no longer working. So we take that out and replace it just to keep it fresh. Maybe the new thing we bring in brings in someone new. But we always want to keep the staples, right? That does keep your existing people from coming back. But that's basically it. Like, we always have to evolve with our audience and our demographic to keep the event alive.
All right, Brentley.
Sweet. Okay, so I just want to go back to even promoting the event because I have so many stories over the years. And you're right, sports are happening every year, and I'm just going to straight up say winning sells. We all know that when your team is winning and you're doing great and you got a great lineup, people are just going to come regardless of what happens. But that doesn't always happen because you can't just win everything. And so I try to always come from the perspective as if you're marketing an event, what are 3 different ways you can market that? So you're not always just going to stick to static social media, sweet, cute Canva design posts. Is it going to come from a video format? But what kind of video format? Whose POV is telling the story? That's how you hit your different demographics. Video format, photo format, blog format. I talk about all the time how people learn in just the different ways. I've mentioned visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic learners, reading and writing learners. I am not a reading and writing learner, so blog posts typically don't do me well. But there are a lot of people in this world that learn from blog posts. So marketing your event through a website blog post from your point of view, from a different writer's point of view, from an attendee's point of view, watching a visual. What can they expect when they come to your event? What can they experience? Who's going to be there? Because I'm not going to a restaurant alone. I want to know who's coming. I'm not going to go to the park alone. I want to know who's going to be there. And so just coming up with at least 3 different ways to market your event. And then if it's a video format, how often are you refreshing those videos? Because you can tell the same message a million bazillion different ways. Just be creative, because one static way is not going to help create buzz. Like I said, winning sells. And, Roshelle really nailed it on the head. It's just knowing who you are when you're going to freshen up your event, because you don't want to deviate completely. That's a totally separate event. So keeping to the core and the why of why you have an event. And then just kind of what Andy said too, just freshening up those elements around the side of the core. You're still going to come to a lacrosse game. But there's 9 different nights of the year where we want to keep your attention, and those have to be 9 different reasons why. Last year when we started the berries, we came from a standpoint where we just want to really own and be comfortable and confident with what we're presenting. So we didn't do a lot of fluffy sideline extra tailored events and theme nights. We really just stuck to berries baseball, and we saw that was so successful. We carried that on to this year. A berries game day, there's 28 games in a year for berries in the span of 2.5 months. When we are competing with, from a sports perspective, we have the Rattlers that have the same timing. We have people that are going to the lake the second May Long happens. See you later. We have farmers in the field. We have kids ending school, graduating high school. We have parents that want to escape and just shut off completely to the world, which is totally awesome, and everybody needs that too. So how can we do it? Keeping to the core of what berries did, but then adding in a few elements here and there really freshens it up. And Roshelle also said the biggest word is communication. Communicate what's going on when you freshen up an event. You can do all the new stuff to an event. You can bring in new partners. You can bring in new vendors. You can have new content. But if you're not telling people about that, no one's going to know. So freshening up an event is great, but if you're not communicating those changes, it's just going to fall flat on somebody's ears. The other thing I wanted to kind of mention when we're talking about freshening up an event, you might be even thinking like, hey, I've been running this event for a couple years. It's an annual event. I know it's coming up. What needs to happen? What am I going to do? And when Andy was talking about the testimonials and the reviews, yes, they keep you up at night, because I've been in the same boat. So I was just like flashbacking to those ones. But in today's world, we're all just like, okay, hide behind a keyboard, maybe answer a few emails, pick up the phone and call your people who are coming to your event. Hey, you've been coming for the last 3 years. We all run data. Hopefully you're running data. Hopefully you're collecting all those leads and you have an awesome CRM standpoint. But hey, what did you like about our event? What's something that you would improve upon? Because if somebody has an idea, You don't have to have the best ideas. We don't have all the best ideas. We have different forum groups that we ask. We ask the students, hey, when you're coming to a Blades event and a Rush event and you're spending your money, what do you want to see? Hey, what do you want to see when you're coming to a Berries event? Most people don't know, but most people that have been coming annually that are your repeat customers, what's something that they would want to do? Not that you have to act upon everybody's idea, because they might be super unprofessional, and maybe you don't have the budget for them, whatever that might be. Uh, but we are still trying to get Dwayne the Rock Johnson to come to a Rush game, because that's the feedback we keep getting from people. And the last thing I wanted to say, I could just talk for forever because I just love event marketing. It's something that I've always done, and to be able to do it for 3 big sports teams in Saskatoon is such a privilege, especially because the jobs in the space is so limited. But what Andy said is, don't take away stuff people like. Do not do that.
Yeah.
It just upsets them. And we all know that if you're a Blades fan, you love those bobbleheads. They are not going away. We will not do that to you by freshening up the event that way. Don't do it. That's when the reviews come in wrong. So just find other ways to freshen up your events.
And I think Brentley has wrapped it up for us because time is against us and we have to hit that 11 o'clock mark. And I'm so happy for all the knowledge and your expertise that you have shared. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to go through all of the questions, but guess what? You have hit, you have responded to the questions that I haven't asked. And definitely, thanks. I hope that people have made some notes. And you know what? This is recorded. So if you want to go back to watching this and just to make notes for yourself, I encourage you to do that. And again, if today's discussion did spark ideas on your own, on your own business or event, from our Tourism Saskatchewan standpoint, I want to encourage you to explore some of our, I would say, on-demand training. We do have some business courses that I do think that you would definitely find valuable. And one of those things that I want to bring to the forefront is organizing special events. And this course really dives into tools and strategies that you can use to plan and promote successful events. I'm looking at the chat here, and people are really they're really grateful for what the presentation today. And, take a look at that. It's on the Business Hub. And if you also, just to build on that, you might also want to take a look at our Marketing Saskatchewan and applying marketing strategies. And this will definitely just help you to take your marketing to another level so that you can sustain interest and interest in the long run in your event and also in your own business as well. So please do visit us on the Business Hub and you can have access to these courses. Thanks a million for joining us today. And but before you leave, please do join us on October the 2nd. And we're going to be having another webinar with another interesting topic, and that is how to create content calendar to save time. I know that our operators are very busy, so we want to help you with time management. Have a great afternoon. Have a great morning, I should say, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us. If you do have any questions, please feel free. I'm getting tongue-tied because it's after 11 to email us at training@tourismsask.com. Thank you, Brentley. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Roshelle. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It was a great morning. Bye-bye, everyone.